Welcome to Friday Friends, RI Elder Info's weekly look at the organizations and individuals providing resources for Rhode Island seniors, caregivers, and professionals.
Good morning, everybody. Happy Friday. It is 9 o'clock on Friday, and you are watching our weekly Friday Friends live streaming podcast here on social media. I am Deb Burton, Executive Director of RI Elder Info and host of Friday Friends. We are talking about things today that so many people have called asking about. So please hit the like, hit the share, the bells, the whistles, all those social media cues to say, hey, check this out. Good stuff going on. And as you all know, I say it every week, right? Because you're watching every week. We couldn't do this without the support of our sponsors. So a huge thank you to McCarthy Law, to Washington Trust, to United Healthcare and Point 32 Health Foundation, Neighborhood Health, Oak Street Health, 321 Media, making the magic happen behind the scenes, England Studios, and all of our individual donors and supporters. We couldn't do this without all of you. So huge thank you. So today, I have known today's guest for many, many years. She is someone that I trust, and I thought, who better to come on and talk about life care planning than attorney Samantha McCarthy? Welcome, Sam.
And me, happy to be here.
How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you.
Good, good. It's good to see. Like, you got a lot of things going on at McCarthy Law. You're growing, you're getting a new location, lots of fun stuff.
We are, lots of change, but all good things.
Yeah, that's awesome. So we go back a lot of years, but you just started something new, hit McCarthy Law.
Yeah, so we just started a program called Life Care Planning, which really developed out of us identifying that there were services our clients needed that we couldn't provide as attorneys. So we were trying to, and our clients would come and say, okay, that's great. You can help me protect my assets or avoid probate or get powers of attorney and guardianships. But like, what do I do day to day? How do I care for my aging parent, my loved one? Maybe they're in a care facility, adult daycare, but then they come home at night. And if they have Alzheimer's, cognitive decline, dementia, maybe they wander and they're not safe and families are looking for resources to take care of them. Or maybe they're looking for placement options. It was like, we could meet with them and say, here's all the community partners. Here's 15 people we've met with that we trust that we think do a good job, but good luck, right? And that's only so helpful to people because they're already overwhelmed and you just gave them even more overwhelming stuff and more tasks on their already full to-do list. So life care planning is really this holistic approach to the practice of elder care law, which involves really bringing together legal, healthcare, financial, all of that into one pot. And so us as attorneys at McCarthy Law, there's 3 of us. We are involved in the client's case always. We're always there as the legal support, but we also now have a very experienced geriatric care social worker on staff. And so she is able to help hold families' hands and walk through this care journey, navigating the very difficult long-term care maze, really, as many people know it to be. And so we are now able to fill that gap for clients in a way that doesn't say, here's a bunch of resources, figure it out. Instead, we say, okay, here's step 1. Can't eat the whole elephant at once. We're going to do this. And then we'll do the next thing together and then follow families. So, she is experienced and does care plans. And then every quarter or more often if needed, we're following up with families and helping people to identify changes, any declines, any additional resources, help advocate for the care. So really, the goal of this program is just to help families and partners, especially when people want to age safely in place or, have the least restrictive care and preserve their autonomy. It's difficult to figure out where to turn. So that's where this was born from. And we are so excited to be able to offer this.
That is amazing. And I think it's really kind of unique. There's not a lot of attorneys that provide that additional service. So when we think about the legal concerns that we should at least think about as we get older.
Yeah.
What are some of those topics that McCarthy Law that they can call Sam and say, "Hey, Sam, I saw you on Friday Friends. Can
Yeah.
you help me with?"
Yeah.
What would that be?
I mean, I think the most basic is like powers of attorney. So they seem simple. They're one of the most basic in terms of complexity of the legal documents that we do. But a power of attorney says this is who can pay my bills and do my day-to-day financial management in the events I'm not able to, or this is who can make my healthcare decisions. Here's what decisions I want them to follow. And if you don't have powers of attorney in place and you become incapacitated, whether short-term because of surgery and accident, or long-term because of a cognitive decline or some diagnoses, your family then has to get a guardianship for you. You have to go to the court. The court's going to oversee everything that happens. And so we can do guardianships, and we certainly do, but we absolutely advocate for people doing the powers of attorney when they have the capacity to do so that they're actively involved making the decisions about who's going to help them. So that's, most general level, and really anybody over the age of 18 should have a power of attorney. Even college kids can't have their making all their legal decisions once they're adults. So, but as people age, it becomes even more important because then we're avoiding the guardianships. And then, on a more complex level, clients come to us to ask about asset protection. So many people are fearful of nursing home and long-term care costs. They're afraid of losing their home, and everybody has horror stories they've heard. You look at Google and ask a question, and you get
Don't Google this stuff. Ask an expert.
I mean, there's some places that are like really good info, but there's also so many places that like it's so incorrect, but people then get fearful because it's so much fear-based marketing. So we're helping people to navigate that. What's available for long-term care? What's not? If we have an immediate long-term care need, how can we save as much of the assets as possible? How can we look at Medicaid eligibility so a community spouse doesn't become impoverished? And then also, if we have a little bit more time, we're not in an emergency crisis situation, can we do some trusts? Can we do irrevocable trusts to protect assets outside of the 5-year look back? Everybody hears about 5-year look back, which is another confusing thing. So just really holding clients' hands as they progress through life to help them make sure they have the legal documents in place to take care of them, but also their families. People come to us really to make sure their families are okay when they're here and after they're gone. So really that whole progression is what we help with as attorneys.
So I want to just go back and touch on the powers of attorney, because I think a lot of times people get nervous that if, say, for example, I name my daughter as my healthcare power of attorney and I'm making choices that she doesn't like, then she could just like throw me in a nursing home and I won't ever be able to get out. Or, if I name somebody as my financial power of attorney, then I can't handle my checkbook anymore and I don't want to give up all that control. How exactly, how do those documents work?
That's such a great question, Deb. And this is something that clients are often fearful of. We do have lots of conversations with our clients about making sure the people you're choosing for your agent under powers of attorney, for your trustee, are people that you trust. But regardless, we need to have some safety measures. The thing with a power of attorney is, first of all, from a financial standpoint, it can be something called springing or durable. So if people do have concerns, sometimes we'll talk about a springing power of attorney, and maybe the clients will decide on that, especially if they're naming someone other than their spouse as their agent, for instance.
What does springing mean?
Sure,
is it done in the spring?
It could be. The difference really is a durable power of attorney is effective immediately upon signing. So you sign it, your agent, regardless of whether you still have capacity or not, could go to the bank and theoretically clean out your accounts. Now, there's safety measures in place with the banks that most won't allow that to happen either, but it could happen legally. Whereas springing says that, okay, I'm signing this now. Here's my wishes. Here's the power this person has. Here's where I want to be in control. But their power under this power of attorney does not come into effect, doesn't spring into effect until the happening of a future event, which is generally 2 physicians certifying that you're incapacitated to make decisions for yourself. So it provides some extra protection. The downside to that is it's a little bit harder, right? So we can't necessarily act immediately because we have to get 2 doctors who are independent from one another to write what we need them to write, to say that this person can't make their own decisions. And we see, especially for some seniors who don't have regular medical care and aren't treating with physicians, it's hard to get someone to do that. So you do have to balance those, but it does provide some extra protection. But that's what's important about power of attorney versus a guardianship, because the guardianship does remove someone's autonomy to make their own decisions. So
it's so much harder.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, in power of attorney, when you're able to say who you want to be involved, you're deciding who's helping you. Doesn't take away your ability to make your own decisions, pay your own bills. So someone, while you have capacity, cannot trump your decisions. You also can amend the power of attorney at any time, right? So I can I put my adult son and I don't think that he's doing a good job or he's doing something shady, I can take him off. So you still have that control. They can't like override your decisions. If you wait and you don't have capacity or it's unclear and there is no power of attorney, and we're at that time where maybe like sometimes a day they understand and sometimes they don't, then families end up having a situation where if you don't have capacity to execute that power of attorney, we have to go to court to get a guardianship. And guardianships do remove your ability to make your own decisions. The court says, we're overseeing it. This person makes your healthcare, your financial, your residence, your relationship decisions. So it's so much more restrictive. Never mind time consuming, stressful, expensive. So the powers of attorney really are what allow you to avoid that, but still be in control as long as you possibly can.
One of those, ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, absolutely. So true.
Now, when is usually a good time for people to come in and meet with an attorney to get, documents in order? So often I hear, oh, it's in the will, but the navigation of day-to-day life is today.
Yeah. I mean, it's never too late. That's one thing we hear a lot with people as they age, thinking it's too late. Like we're meeting clients on their deathbed all the time because suddenly you thought it wasn't too late, or it was too late and you didn't think about it. You thought you were okay. And now you have these fears coming up. So, any time really is a good time to at least start the conversation. We're really big advocates of like proactively planning. So obtain the information so you're making educated decisions about what's going to happen to you. You can have a plan and review it over time. So we have care plans, which allow us to meet with our clients who do estate planning who maybe don't have long-term care concerns yet, but we know things may be changing, and allow us to meet with them regularly to keep track. What changes are in your health? What are the changes in your assets? Are you retiring? What are those kinds of things to make sure that we keep up with planning as life goes? Because that's another common issue is people set it and forget it. We have clients come to us with powers of attorney that are 20 years old. Legally, those are valid, but the banks won't recognize them because they don't want the liability of it. So you do need to be reviewing and updating these things regularly, but it's really never too early, and it's really also never too late. It's just the scope of the planning changes based on where you're at in your life.
Now, I noticed, and I noticed that you are recognized as a part of the National Association of Elder Law Attorneys, something NAELA. Yes. What is that? What does that mean? What does it mean to be part of that?
Sure. Yeah. So that's a network of all of the attorneys throughout the country who practice in this elder law specific practice area. So there's estate planning, which is wills, trusts, powers of attorney. How do we avoid probate? But that doesn't take it to the next level of how do we protect people as they age, make sure their assets are protected from long-term care considerations, make sure people have the care that they need. So that's where NAELA comes in, is it's the network that says all of those of us who do this, who care about seniors and help them as they age, we work together, which is great because it's a very collegial bar. And so we're able to bounce ideas off of one another, or, if a client's relocating, say, hey, this is what the rule is here. I know what the federal rule is, but what are your state specific rules? So it allows us to work together really to best serve our clients throughout the country. And then there's the state Rhode Island NAELA Association as well, which I'm a part of.
Very cool. Now, to be a member of that association, do you have to take additional classes, or is it just a membership that you just join because it interests you? What constitutes becoming a member, since some of this stuff can be done by individuals who are not members?
Yeah, so membership, it doesn't require certain classes, but there are conferences every year. And so we attend the conference. Last year we went to Puerto Rico. This year it's in Boston in a couple of weeks. So big difference in location, right?
Big difference.
It's great because it's education related to what are the practice specifics of this area, and then what are the nuanced things that people are seeing in the industry. So there's always like physicians who are speaking, there's industry experts in different areas. So we're learning the legal side, we're working on that, making sure we're keeping up with the changes. The Medicare and Medicaid rules change all the time. And so NAELA is really the resource to make sure that you have all of that information pooled together. We're busy practicing attorneys, and if your attorney's not busy, you might not want them, right? Because you want someone who does have clients who, which shows they're doing a good job, but it's hard to keep up on all these changes. And so NAELA, as a resource, has people on their full-time staff who do that research, bring all the information together, and then get groups of us together to brainstorm or to advocate at the legislative level for changes if we think things need to happen.
Oh, wow. So NAELA even does advocacy as well.
Yes.
That is awesome, because I think sometimes our older adults and their needs, both health and financial and legal, all need a little bit more voice at the legislative level. Absolutely.
Absolutely, because I think, we've talked about this before, but people making the laws aren't actually involved necessarily with these people and seeing the actual issues. And that's one of the things of our elder care coordinator. I mean, she has so much experience that she's really our client's advocate and can say, here's the real issues. So as a team, we at our firm, but also all the elder law attorneys, I think we really do this because we care about our people. We want to help others. We want to make the community better. And so we have to do that at the legislative level too, to advocate for change, because we can do everything we can in people's individual lives, but there are some systemic issues, as you know, that need to be tackled as well.
Absolutely. 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 So if people wanted to reach out to you, how do they do that? What is your phone number?
Sure. Our phone number is 401-541-5540. And then we also have a website with a wealth of information at www.mccarthylawri.com. And then for people who are on social media, our Facebook and Instagram have lots of helpful tips and hints and things like that too. So we like to provide information so people can become educated. Lawyers tend to be scary. People don't want to talk to them, don't know how much it's going to cost. And so we want to be able to provide some free information and resources for people.
And that's, I think, really important. And I think that that's one of the things that I've always appreciated, is that when you speak to people, you're really down to earth. Like, you speak their language in a way that is understandable.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. We try, we say our core values here, we lead with empathy. And actually every person on my staff has dealt with a care concern, an issue with someone in their family. One of my main paralegals, her dad died young and she went through probate. I helped care for my grandfather at home. One of my associates cared for aging parents and grandparents at home. We've had people who've had loved ones placed in assisted living. Kirsten, our elder care coordinator, actually takes care of her aging mom at home. And so we all have experiences. And so this isn't just a job. It's not just work. It's like things we're really passionate about because we've been there. We know what it's like, and we want to help people.
Yeah, absolutely. I am so glad that you had time to come on today and talk to us about this new program, the life care planning that you're offering, and just share the importance of a lot of these different legal documents that I think sometimes people get really nervous about.
Mm-hmm. It is so confusing. Thank you so much for having us. We really appreciate it. I appreciate the time so we can share this, and happy to speak to anybody who has questions.
Absolutely. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Everybody, Sam, I've known for a long time, and I am really excited to have McCarthy Law as one of our sponsors. She really is an expert in elder law. So I encourage you to reach out 401-405-5975 or the McCarthyLawRI.com. She'll be happy to answer your questions, because I know it can be a little scary. Not knowing the questions to ask and not sure, what those answers might be. And she makes it a lot more comfortable to address some of the hard topics. And a little secret she didn't share, she does have an office mascot. So if you need someone to snuggle, she has a couple of dogs in the office that you can snuggle if you're feeling nervous. And if you're not a dog person, they can be put away too. So just another fun fact. Anyway, I am so glad that you have joined us here today. I look forward to seeing you all again next week. In the meantime, be well and be kind.
If you like this video, please follow us on social media and subscribe on YouTube. For more information, visit rielderinfo.com or call 401-585-0509. If you have any questions, email deb@rielderinfo.com.